What's up everybody, I'm Flying Scorpion and I just recently watched the most recent dev stream for Warframe, and there's some really cool stuff coming up in the dev stream. We've got some balance changes for some Warframes that definitely need that, some buffs for them really. We've also got some changes and buffs to the Steel Path. I guess to say more so buffs in terms of the rewards. Better matchmaking. These are really good things to do, and we've seen some sneak peeks at the, well, not really sneak peeks, but just full on, like, here's the stuff that's coming for new weapons, here's what the new Warframe is going to look like, and so on and so forth. Corpus, Railjack, Corpus Liches with briefcases, lots of cool stuff. So rather than focus more on the long-term stuff, I'm just going to, trust that they'll do that well, and, it'll be cool. And I think I'm going to have a little more reason to come back and play more Warframe, with the changes, maybe to Liches. Having a Lich and a Railjack sounds pretty cool. Corpus Liches, that sounds really interesting. And whatever Corpus Lich weapons you get, I'm also kind of interested in that as well. But for now, one of the things that's most interesting to me in the short term are the changes to the Warframes. The change to Chroma looks awesome. The fact that you can just change your element on the fly really gives versatility to them. Kind of gives them some crossover with other Warframes like Equinox, for example. Like Equinox, you can switch between day form and night form. Well, now with Chroma, you've got 4 different forms that you can change from. He's now he's like the king of adaptability in that respect. Although his stuff is very, very combat focused, and Equinox can have some really cool kind of subtle, not even not so subtle, just area-wide effects that are amazing in her own way. So I'd say there's still a good balance between the two Warframes. So that's really cool to see. Another thing that we're seeing is the changes to Nekros. They're buffing his first ability. Thank God, finally. Like, I think in the trailer for Nekros, it originally showed him soul punching an enemy, and then after he punched the soul out of them, their body hung around as like a vassal, as like a thrall or something, or like, I don't know, or the spirit hung around. I can't remember exactly, but that was a way to do that. And now they've actually done it. Thank you. Thank you, DE. That is awesome. That's really cool. I just kind of wish that the visual effects of them was a little bit less like, they look like ghosts, I'm like, I wish they didn't look like ghosts. Like, I wish they looked more like actual physical, like maybe some other way to distinctify. It's, I know the trouble is that how do you distinctify his undead army from regular enemies? It needs to be super obvious. So I don't know, but anyway, the fact that you can heal them as well is super cool. So now you can hang on to your super powerful Eximus units. You can specifically focus your ability, your first ability, on Eximus units and powerful units, and this is a huge buff to him, and it really rewards game knowledge and tactical use of your ability, and smart play style, and this is just awesome. That's really good. Okay, so I don't know much about Garuda. I've never really played her, so I have no opinion really on what they're doing with her. Who else is on there? I think Atlas. The buff to Atlas's ability sounds really cool. I guess it really just depends on how much damage it does, but whatever. I mean, who uses that ability? I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. I'll leave it. I'm sure there's people that like using Bulwark. I'm not really big into Bulwark, but maybe they can make it good with this buff to it. I don't know. Who else were they talking about? I think they had Ash on there, something to do with the Seeking Shuriken. I don't know. I wasn't paying too much attention. Here's the one that I want to talk about the buffs, and I've saved it for last. It's Zephyr. So they're changing Zephyr. Zephyr's a Warframe. That's very important to me. I primarily have been a Saren player for most of my time in Warframe. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of Saren. A lot of time spent just playing Saren. But second to Saren, I actually chose Zephyr as my favorite. And part of the reason I chose Zephyr is because, I love Saren for what she is, but she's just so popular. Like, you run into Sarens all the time. And I was like, well, let's pick something that nobody really sees. And at that time, and this was before Zephyr Prime, and I think this was even before Saren Prime even. What year was this? I don't remember, but it was Zephyr. She was so rare, like nobody used her. I started playing her and she really kind of sucked. Still kind of sucks today. And they're changing her airburst ability to do more damage. I don't like that. Like, here's the thing. First of all, way too much focus on damage, less focus on something that's just kind of like fun, interesting, and really quality of life. That's what's lacking from Saren, is quality of life. Now, they're doing quality of life on her 4th ability, and that's a step in a good direction. If you tap it, it will create sort of like a stationary cloud, and enemies are more sticky to the tornado. They're less likely to fly out of it. Perfect. This is really good. You have more control over it. It's not like random, and you don't have the AI making terrible decisions and having it go into a wall and disappearing, and and then the enemies get stuck to the wall, and that's so ugh. So it's a lot better now. Hopefully it'll be better after they change it. But the first ability, I don't need more damage. Who needs more damage? Seriously, who needs more damage? Like, your 4th ability is going to make you do tons of damage anyway. Equip an Ogress, equip a Kuva Ogress, boom, just melt everything. No problem. The first ability, you know what sucks about the first ability? You have no control over yourself when you cast it. You can change the direction that you're in, but once you cast it, you're in that direction and you're locked on. You can't slow yourself down. You can't stop. You can't change directions. Compare it to other Warframes, particularly Gauss, for example, or Gauss. Gauss's first ability is very similar to Saren's first ability, but here's some key differences. Number 1, you can stop anytime you want to. Just let go of the W key, or whatever the move forward on your joystick, whatever, just let go of the joystick. He stops. He stops, and he doesn't even slide forward. He just instantly stops. He stops on a dime. That's amazing. Second, you can actually turn while you're doing it. Now, your turning is very limited, but you can turn. And if you're out in the plains of Eidolon, or you're out on like the Cambion Drift or something like that, you can actually run across the map, potentially, or just run a good distance across the map. And that's super fun. That's super fun, and you have some control over yourself. In a regular mission, in some hallways, it is usable. It is usable, and you can, if you're lucky and the hallways line up well, you can actually run down a substantial length of hallways, get through doorways and stuff like that. Super fun. Zephyr's first ability, not at all like that. You end up getting stuck into the wall, you get stuck into the ceiling, you get stuck on obstacles, and you're basically waiting for the effect to come off, so you change your animation from like head bombing into the wall or whatever, to then falling. And here's the next problem. Her passive ability makes you fall slower. Now, I like that passive ability. That's an awesome passive ability. It's really unique to Zephyr. It's one of the main reasons that anyone should play Zephyr, because where else are you going to get that? You can't get that anywhere else. Maybe Patagium, I think it's called, that mod, Aim Glide mod, but that's not even really quite the same thing. Playing as Zephyr is like playing on low gravity mode, which is super cool, and I love that. Please don't change that. But the problem is, when you're launching yourself into a corner, or you miss, let's say you miss the doorway by just a little bit and you end up hitting the wall. You'll hit the wall, you'll slide up towards the ceiling, the ability will turn off, then you'll slowly descend, and if you want to speed the process up, you have to melee down to the ground, wait for that, and then dodge roll forward, and then you can start running again. It's really clunky, it really interrupts the flow. She doesn't feel like she's graceful. She doesn't feel like she's gliding and seamlessly transferring back and forth between being on the ground or being on the air. And even just staying in the air is kind of tricky with her, and that's okay. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but look at Wukong, for example. Wukong's Cloud Walker is like Zephyr's Airburst or not Airburst, I should say, her first ability on steroids. You move super fast, you're in the air, you have total control over your direction, you can stop and hover in the air. It's amazing. It's like 10 times better than Zephyr's ability to glide through the air. And, he just trumps Zephyr in that regard. That's one of the reasons why I've been playing more Wukong lately, or why I was playing more Wukong before I stopped playing Warframe recently. Anyway, so there's all of that. I'm done giving my opinion now. I thought I would just kind of share it with you all. Hope you're all having fun playing Warframe. I haven't really been playing it all that much, to be honest. The new weapons, the new stuff for Steel Path. Let's talk about Steel Path for a second here, actually. So this changes to Steel Path sound great. Giving Steel Essence, 5 Steel Essence a day guaranteed, really helps to pull players together. I think that's going to help, also help players unlock more nodes on the star chart. I think this is anything that kind of helps the matchmaking for this type of stuff is good. So, what's been going on with me? Well, I've been playing a lot of Stellaris lately. I've been loving this game. I've been getting into the modding a little bit more. I never realized how awesome modding a game was until I started playing Stellaris. if there's something in the game that isn't to my liking, I can change it, and so can other players. And what's really cool is if it's not to your liking, or if there's something lacking from the game that you wish was there, and you go and create that, there's probably other people that want it too. And you can publish your mods for free, other people can try it out, you can all try it out together, and that's really cool. But anyway, I think I'll stop there. Thank you all for watching, and again, I'm Flying Scorpion. See you in the next one. Bye.